Hello and welcome to Geardo Ranger, your one-stop for pen testers, ethical hackers, and red team enthusiasts. Today we're going to dive into a fun capture the flag box on the site TryHackMe.com called PickleRick. This capture the flag box is based on the popular show Rick and Morty on Adult Swim. I wanted to use this video as my first video on my channel because of how much I love Rick and Morty. If you've never seen the show, I'd definitely recommend you check it out. As you can see from the webpage, the overall storyline for the capture the flag is that Rick needs your help to turn back into a human. Well, that's kind of funny. As we read more into the storyline below, as we pull it up, there we go. It says this Rick and Morty themed challenge requires you to exploit a web server to find 3 ingredients that will help Rick make his potion to transform himself back into a human from a pickle. That's kind of funny, and it seems that the story is based off of the famous PickleRick episode of Rick and Morty. Well, let's dive into this box and see if we can help Rick turn back into a human. Before we do start, I do need to put out a quick disclaimer to everybody. The information I'm about to provide you and actions I show you are intended for educational purposes only. This channel does not promote any illegal activities conducted from the activities and knowledge you learn from this channel. So let's go ahead and begin by starting the machine. All right, now that we have our machine running, you can see that we have currently an IP address of 10.10.168.127. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to move over to terminal and just give you a little background. I'm running Kali, and with Kali Linux, I usually give myself about 4 different workspaces to work with because sometimes there could be a lot of work that needs to be done. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and copy this address. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and run an nmap on this machine to find out what information we can. Now, this is just how I usually work in my workflows. I like to be able to split my terminal around so that I can have multiple windows running at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and make this just a little bit bigger for you, and I'm going to go ahead and run an nmap on this machine. And a couple things about this nmap before we run it is I like to be able to search all the ports. If you've never used nmap before, so option P is to run all the ports, and then you have option capital PN. This is usually makes it to where nmap will actually find if the machine is actually on the network, because some of Windows servers don't actually work with ping. Well, they block the ping through ICMP. So turning this option on will still allow you to be able to get a ping back from a machine that is on a network. And then VV, I'm running it in very verbose mode. It's more or less because I like to see the results of an nmap as it's coming through. So let's go ahead and run that through. And as we're running through, I can already see that as it's going along, that port 22 is open, which is SSH, and I see that port 80 is open, which is HTTP in the open. So with that, as this nmap is running through, I'm going to go ahead and go over here, and I'm going to go ahead and take this IP address again, copied, and I'm going to go ahead and open it up on my my Firefox, and you can see that we do have a web page open. And so, as we can see here, we can read through it. So it says, "Help Morty, listen, Morty, I need your help. I've been turned into a pickle again." Everything like we've been seeing already from the scenario already. Let's see. I need you to Bert, Morty, log onto my computer and find the 3 ingredients. The only problem is I have no idea what my password was. Help Morty, help. Okay, so usually with a port 80 open, and I see the page on here, the number one thing I always like to do is I like to go in here and I like to see the page source and basically read through it and see what kind of information we're dealing with. If there's any comments in the HTML or anything that might be hidden in here that could give us a little bit of a background. So we already see, first and foremost, that some of the background images and other things that work for this page is coming off of an assets page. So what I would like to do first is I'll go over here and I will go ahead and put this in, and I will look, if I can type, what information we have here. So I'll keep that open over there, and we'll roll through here. And as I'm reading through it, here we go. We actually have a comment on the web page that says, "Note to self, remember my username. My username is Rick Rules." Okay, so that's good information to know right there. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to go onto one of my other workspaces here. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to go ahead and make a directory called, we're going to call this one Pickle, to be able to work in. So we're going to go ahead and go over to Pickle, and then I am going to make a file here called hints. And as we go in here, I'm going to go ahead and put that we have the username Rick Rules. All right, so now that we have the username Rick Rules, let's see what else we got here. We got the comments here for Rick Rules. And because we have a port 80 open, I really want to know if there's more information or more pages that are going on here. So I'm going to go back to here and get the IP address again. And I'm going to go back into my terminal. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run GoBuster. All right. And I've done a bunch of other GoBusters before, but I think what I would like to start doing on this one, since we don't have that much time going on, and I don't want to let you stay here for a long time, I'm just going to run some very, very common words. So as you probably noticed, I'm running in Z Shell, and I usually use Z Shell for these purposes where I can see what's available and be able to select it from there. And it also lets me know what other commands I've ran for before. So I'm actually going to go with the small text or the small common ones here, and see if anything does pop up on GoBuster. And this one should go pretty fast. And as we see, we have assets pop up. And let's see if any other pages pop up. Nope, we don't. Okay, so we have assets. So I thought small would work for us. Let's just move into common, which is another one to work under, and see if anything else pops up. Okay, so we have the HT access, HT password. Those are kind of usual for some of these pages. And there's the assets again. Let's keep running through this. You know, while this is going on, I probably want to go ahead and Nicto this page too. And so I'm going to go ahead and pop this off with this page here and see if anything pops up with Nicto also. Okay, so we actually have an index page too that's available. So we might want to take a look at that page. Let's take a look at what else got here. Oh, we have a robots text. Okay, so our robots text, usually that's a text page that gets published, which causes the Google wall crawler to ignore some pages. So let's go ahead and take that, and let's go ahead and take a look at that page on over into Firefox. So if we open the, so we don't actually see pages here, but we do see something here, wubba lubba dub dub. If you watch the show, it's a great saying in the show. So we're going to take the wubba lubba dub dub, we're going to copy that, and we're going to go ahead and put it over here. And we're going to call this right here possible passwords. And I'm going to drop it over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this information and we're going to go back. We know SSH is open. Let's see if we can't get in with SSH with this password. All right, as we continue to keep going here, right now we currently have a username of Rick Rules and a possible password right now of wubba lubba dub dub. So with that, seeing that port 22 was open earlier, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run an SSH and see if I can't go ahead and log in with that IP address and Rick Rules and see if we can't get into it. And trying to get into it right now, you can see the public key specifically states the permission was denied. So obviously we can't get in through the SSH with that. So that road is going to be a dead end for us. Let's see what else we got here. So we did get the Nicto all the way through. So let's go ahead and look through the Nicto. Port 80, everything running through here. Everything looks correct. I'm running Apache server and cookies. And oh, here we go. I've got a login page here in login.php. So let's head over there with the end being login PHP and see what pops up there. It might be something we can look for there. Let's see here, login.php, and boom, what do we got here? We got a login page for Rick and Morty. Well, this just looks pretty good right now. So let's go back here. Let's go ahead and get that information there for the login. We're going to go ahead and drop that in. And then we're going to go ahead and drop the password in, wubba lubba dub dub. And see if we get anything to pop up here. And let's see. We don't need to save that. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like what we have here is we have a web-based command panel here. Let's see, we're running Apache and coming back on the mmap scan that was complete. It looks like we're running Ubuntu here, so I'm guessing that this command panel is going to be running Ubuntu Linux style commands. So let's go ahead and start off with like ls here and see what pops up. So we'll go ahead and run ls, and oh, here we go. Okay, so we've got assets, clue.txt, deny.php, index.html, login.php, portal.php, and robots.txt. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we've already seen what's in robots.txt. We're already in the login page right now. We've seen index.html. I'm sure we're not going to have this, but let's go ahead and see what this is right here. So we're going to go ahead and copy this, and hopefully we can't run nano because we're in a command panel here. We're not actually in the terminal. Let's see. Maybe we can run a more on this and get something to pop up. And okay, so we can't run that. Command disabled. So it looks like with this command panel, certain commands are disabled here for us to be able to use. Maybe we can use less and see if that pops up right there, actually. And so there we go. All right, so it looks like we've got something here called Mr. Meeseek's Hair. So I'm going to go ahead and add that into here. And we've got Mr. Meeseek's Hair here. And if we go back to the TryHackMe for Rick here, that should probably be the first ingredient we need, which is Mr. Meeseek's Hair. All right, looks like we're good there. All right, so now that we have the Mr. Meeseek's Hair, we need to probably go through here and actually take a look at, again, on what we have here to see if we can find out what our next clue or ingredient will be to help Rick change back. Okay, now that we have both of the ingredients to help Rick change back into a human from a pickle, we need to go ahead and find the third ingredient. So, coming back into the portal here for Rick's portal, which we're logged in as Rick Rules right now, I noticed that there are actually some hyperlinks up top here. So we got potions. If we click on that, okay, it says only the real Rick can view this page. We got creatures, another one called potions, and Beth clone notes. That's a good joke there with the recent season of Rick and Morty that's been going on. But as we click on most of all these pages up here, as you can see, it pops up as deny.php. This is more than likely, and it is because we're logged in as Rick Rules, and it says right here, only the real Rick can view this page. So, and we saw as we traversed through the Ubuntu commands over here in the command page that there was a user called Ubuntu and a user called Rick. So, with that, I'm wondering if there's a way to get into this machine using a reverse shell, and I can possibly inject a bash command here that will basically send it out if I'm listening to a certain port. So I'm going to come back over here to my terminal, and I'm going to set up a netcat that I usually do, and I'm going to set to listen to port 5555, just a random port that's not being used on my machine. And so now I'm listening, And I'm going to come back over here, and I am going to write a simple bash injection here to see if I can't get this machine to actually send a call signal out to my Kali machine. What is my IP address? I believe it was, okay, 10.649.43. So 10.649.43, and we're listening over there on port 5555. So I'm sending it to port 5555, and then nulling this. And if I see here, bash C, and make sure everything looks good here, which it does. I'm going to execute that. Come back over here, and I have a reverse shell. Here we go. I am now in this machine on 10.10.168.127, which is the IP of that machine. So I am going to go to home and start traversing this machine a little bit. So let's see, we've got Rick and Ubuntu. We've already gone into Rick from the web page, but if I'm logged in from reverse shell from Rick rules, it should not let me into this user. And if I try and change the directory to Rick, it lets me in. Okay, so that's odd. And same with the, I'm guessing Ubuntu also, which it does. And nothing in there. Okay, I wonder why that is. So let's run a good old sudo-l and see what privileges we have, this user has. And so, okay, so what it's telling me here is that the local user I'm logged in with actually has sudo privileges. So I should be able to run sudo privileges without any password at all, instead of actually asking for the root password. So let's see here. Let's run a sudo. And let's see if we can't show what's actually in the root folder. Might be something in there. Hopefully we can see. It's the ls root folder, and oh, there we go. It actually let me into it. And let's see, we've got snap and a text file called third. So let's run an ls-al on root and see what we have here. And let's see here, we have the SSH, we have the third text, which is a file, and snap, that's a directory. So let's run a sudo less than on root and on third.txt. And what do we got here? Third ingredient, phlebe juice. All right, so it looks like we've already got our third ingredient. I'm actually a little curious what's in this one actually too. So let's run a sudo there, and let's run an ls-al on root snap and see what pops up. And okay, something with Amazon there, agent. Not going to really get into there. This might be actually running on an Amazon web server here, so I'm not going to get into that. But we've already got our third ingredient, which is phlebe juice. So if we go back here to TryHackMe, and we already had the two ingredients, and we take a look at everything else, the third ingredient is the phlebe juice. And there you go. And the way this machine was set up, again, this box is a easy box here. It's rated easy. But as you can see, a couple things we were able to do here is we were able to conduct a reverse shell. Well, first of all, we were able to get into the portal here. And we found out that it was running a command panel that was a very light version of Linux commands. Some of them were not existing in there. We knew it was a Ubuntu machine from the nmap. We got a reverse shell to run. We got into the machine, and we were able to determine that this machine allowed us to run sudo privileges without a password, and we were able to find the third ingredient. So that's the complete walkthrough of this box for the TryHackMe's PickleRick. It's actually a real fun box. I hope you learned a lot from this walkthrough and how to be able to exploit this machine and be able to get the information that we were looking for here. And I hope you try it and you can go ahead and work through the same way. Again, please take all this information as educational purposes. we're going to go ahead and end the video here. I hope you guys had a good time here working through PickleRick on Gyro Ranger. I'm hoping to see you all in the next video, probably in the next week or two. And with that, stay safe and stay secure.